What up, people? I finally found a new series to do other than Teen Wolf, and that's The Real World St. Thomas. So here we go. First off, let's get into the cast members. We got Marie from Staten Island, and she's a drunk. We got Rob, he's a ginger. Enough said. We got LaToya, she's the black chick of the house. Every season needs one. And then there's Trey. Trey's the most muscular guy. He has the gel in his hair, whatever. You know, he's the all-American, as Brandon would say. And speaking of Brandon, we have Brandon, and he's from Boston. Don't mind my bad Boston accent there. He's a recovering drug addict for 6 months and counting. Then we have Swift. His name is also Brandon. Swift is his last name. He goes by Swift. He's the black guy of the house, also the arrogant guy of the house, because every real world needs one of those. And lastly, to complete the 7, we have Laura from Omaha, Nebraska, and she's the tomboy type. Yes, she's still very feminine on the outside. Now, I didn't notice this until I was already making this video, but there's no gay people in this house. This might be a real world first, that there's no gay person, or maybe somebody's gonna drop that bomb or get turned out or something, because I really don't see real world without a gay person. This is like the absolute first time. But moving on to some of the events that happened on the first episode, Rob and Marie meet each other, and he's like, I have this tattoo, and the tattoo is Hakuna Matata on his leg, and she's like, get the fuck out of here. I have that same tattoo on my butt. And the chick literally has Hakuna Matata on her butt, and this guy has it on his leg. So it was in the cards for him. Or maybe MTV just put them in a house together because they both said that on their casting calls, or whatever the hell you call it. Brandon admitted to his coke addiction, and he let the house members know that he's trying to get away from that lifestyle, and he's a recovering addict for 6 months. Then Laura asked him about his the scars on his arms, and they apparently, he was like, yep, they're from what you think it is, and they're apparently from, he cuts himself, he's a cutter. So then Marie shows up to the house. She's unpacking, right? She opens up her suitcase, and she just has like 8 bottles of alcohol. Like, that's all she brought with her. So she's just a straight drunk. That's the only thing we got from her this entire episode, was that she drinks. She was wasted the entire time. But what was shocking to me is that all the roommates seemed to get along. All the personalities seemed to be very welcoming and friendly. It wasn't anybody coming in on a judgmental tip like, look at this person, she wants to be loud, or she thinks she's all this. It wasn't any of that. Everybody pretty much just came in and tried to be friendly and tried to make friends, try to just enjoy the new experience. And that was real cool. That was a nice breath of fresh air from the rest of reality TV that goes on. Brandon ends up feeling like an outcast because the other 3 guys in the house are, pretty ripped up. They're in pretty good shape. They're talking about sports all the time, and he's not in shape, and he likes to do tattoos and piercings and all. So he doesn't fit in much with them. So he feels lonely. He feels alienated. And then he talks to Laura about it. And then Laura makes him feel comfortable and welcome. And then she shares some life experience with him as well, that she's adopted, which she would move on to tell Trey, which made Brandon very jealous because he thought that he was special, which is why she was telling it to him. But he wasn't. Swift and Rob try to break down the scaling, the ratings that men give the women to the women, and they were very much on. Swift said that he'd date a 7, he'd mess around with a 7, but he wouldn't wife down a 7. It's 8 or above. And I mean, I don't think I'm that shallow, but I have to agree, that's what us guys do. We see a woman and she's getting on a scale, we're ranking her from 1 to 10, she's getting a grade. I could still be friends with you even if I think you're a 4. I'm not gonna talk trash about you if I think you're a 4. But that's, like they said, that's how we know how to explain. When I talk to my boy, I'm gonna be like, yeah, she's a 4. So he knows what, in his mind, he's calculating what a 4 looks like. He's creating a 4 in his head, so he knows what she looks like. And that may be a little shallow, but that's just what we do. And then everybody paired off. You had Trey with Laura, you had Swift pairing off with LaToya, and you had Rob and Marie. That left Brandon all out by himself, which is really rare on The Real World, because It's usually two couples, always at least one. It's always at least one, but sometimes maybe two. It's never three. I can't recall a single time that it was three. And this makes it really awkward for Brandon, because there's no gay. So at least if he was gay, you know, he wouldn't really feel the strain. But there has to be strain there, because now these two are off, these two are off, these two are off, and I like this chick, and he's with that chick, and I'm just sitting here all by myself. But that's why I think they should have 8 people, because even if that's another guy, if he has somebody to, you know, to talk to, because he doesn't want to go be a third wheel somewhere. So that made it really awkward for him, and I hate to be in the shoes in that situation. Brandon feeling Laura, he goes and talks to Rob about it, and he's kicking it with Rob about how he feels. So Trey walks up, and like Trey walks like dead in the middle of the conversation. He seen them, they both see him, and he continued to go. He wasn't really saying anything negative though, but he was expressing how he felt about the two's relationship right there in his face. So Trey took a little offense to that. He goes back and he talks to Laura. But Brandon goes and he talks to Trey about it and get everything off his chest without any drama. And I have to respect Brandon there, because he's an honest dude. Like, he came out talking about his drug addiction. He admitted that he was a cutter. He went up to this guy and told him, like, man, I was real jealous of you and all this stuff. He volunteered that. And you have to respect a guy that's gonna keep it all the way 100 no matter what. He's just being honest. But then after that, when Brandon goes to sleep, Trey goes and he reads his journal. He didn't know it was a journal. He just seen the notepad sitting there, so he opened up the notepad, like, and he's looking at it, and it was something in there like, die, die, kill them all, kill them, something like that. Something like suicidal, crazy, deranged type thoughts. And then Trey calls in Laura and Swift to read it too, and they all just bugging out. And that's what it is. Personally, if I was in that situation, I would be freaked out. But I would have never read anybody else's journal. Like, I would have never opened up somebody's notepad, because I know that wasn't mine. I don't know what you have written down. And when people write for therapy, like, I wouldn't want somebody to come. I write raps. I wouldn't want somebody to come and read my raps. And it's not even to a point where I'm writing anything about die. And I'm still don't want anybody reading my words. When I write my words, if somebody else hears them, it's because I said it, not because they read it out of my journal. So I wouldn't have did that. That's when he was wrong. But now the whole house is on edge about this dude, and how could you blame him? But this looks like a really good season of The Real World. I didn't like the last few. Actually, the last one was alright. The few before that, I didn't connect with it. But this one seems to be pretty cool. Just seems like a lot of fun, a lot of friendly people, a lot of just outgoingness, and it's not a lot of bickering about the simplest, smallest things, though there's no real house that will not have bickering, and that's what you come to accept and actually want to see in a reality show, but just not in such dramatic, large portions. Just a little bit of it here and there, you know what I mean? While you see people having a good time, because that's all we want to do, is watch people have a good time. I mean, that's all I want to do. But let's talk about the forgettables. There's always forgettable characters on these reality shows, and if I had to pick, because all of these personalities are really kind of out there, but if I had to pick, I would say Marie, because I could see her just getting drunk a lot and not really, you know, really embracing the situation and the time and experience, but just always being drunk and not much ever coming from that, but maybe a couple of drunk outlashes. But what are your thoughts on the season premiere of The Real World St. Thomas? You can leave that to me in the comment below, and you gotta hit the subscribe button. You don't get another option here. It's a must. You have to hit the subscribe button. So hit the subscribe button. And also follow me on Twitter at BetterWithToast. If you hit me up with something, I'll probably follow you back. And until the next time,